hate that word. Realistic. I can't even say it without choking. Realistic. Welcome to Pandora, kiddos. Or should I say, welcome to LV426, because today I've got a replica M40A1 pulse rifle from Aliens. This piece is absolutely awesome, and it's built on top of a fully functional Thompson submachine gun airsoft replica, complete with digital round counter. Really, the only problem with it is it looks like a toy, and we can't have that. So I'm going to pretty much repaint everything on it and weather it to look much more realistic. I've actually got kind of a lot of work to do on this and not many days to actually work on it. That shouldn't be too much of a problem because the good people at ebike.com sent with it a manual, and that manual includes assembly instructions. And if you didn't know, if you read assembly instructions backwards, they actually turn into disassembly instructions, or maybe a satanic incantation. But I'm hoping for the former because that's going to help me get this done a lot faster. So let's get started disassembling this. Oh, that's cool. It resets to 0. To keep track of screw placement, I've got a pill organizer. And on that pill organizer, I'm going to put numbered labels. And those labels will correspond with the step of the instruction that the screws came from. Thankfully, I've got just the tool to reach between the grip and these screw heads. Even this is metal. That's pretty nice. I'm even gonna put the bit in there with them just to make it easier for me when I come back to it. Talk to me directions. What's next? 2, 2. Screw on both sides. Cool. Some of it's definitely popping right apart here. There. I don't know what kind of loose pieces are in this. I think I found one. Hopefully there aren't many. I would really like to not dent this plastic. Ah, okay. Okay. Found a spring. I hope I can figure out where that goes later. Okay. I have no idea what that piece is. I definitely don't have that piece. Nailed it. Oh. Don't you bastards glued it in. You monsters. I wanted to replace this with a replica grenade. I think if I can just get this glue heated up, I should be able to pull at least the green pieces off to be painted separately. I'm a little bit worried about this. No problem. I can get that all back together. This little LED screen here needs to be masked off. Okay. Now that's going to get hit with a coat of clear flat to seal the edges of the tape. I've got a base of silver down on all the parts that are eventually going to be green again. The next step is going to be putting masking fluid on a lot of these high points and anywhere that it looks like paint would chip or wear off. I've even got reference pictures up for this because I need to make sure that I'm not putting fake paint chips in valleys. For example, right here, this piece is raised up, so that would actually protect this painted edge from being chipped. This down here is the magazine well. This paint's going to get more abuse than anywhere else on the gun because you're always jamming magazines in there. So that's gonna look good and rough. Use some slightly different strokes down here too. All right, and then around here's the release button. So that's gonna get worn a lot too. There we go. I'm going to stop before I overdo it. After I add just a little bit more under here. Like that. That's good. Leave it, stop it. Leave it, okay. Now that that latex mask has dried, we can add a layer of flat black primer. But Tom, I hear you asking, I thought it was going to be green. Why did you paint it black? Right now, I'm painting over the edges of the old masking fluid with new masking fluid. And I'm making sure that it covers just a little bit more than the first layer did. And what this is going to do is add an extra layer of depth. So this is going to make it look as if there were a layer of black primer that is also being worn through. And hopefully that will give it a more convincing weathered look. But we won't know until we take it all off. Also, you might notice that I didn't completely cover with the black primer because I want that to look worn as well. Now the magazine, well, like I said before, it's going to be really good and worn from all the abuse from magazines, but it's not really worn so much as like chipped off. So that wouldn't necessarily wear down to the primer a whole lot. It would probably just gouge straight through. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of masking here. These underslung shotgun grenade launcher pieces are going to be black paint over a gunmetal finish. So we'll start with gunmetal. These grenade launcher pieces are going to get the same latex masking fluid treatment as the main body. The tricky part is going to be adding scratches from the movement of this pump, because those are going to be linear scratches. I'm going to say that this top edge is going to scratch all the way down here. I'm hoping that's going to make some straight looking scratch marks from the action of the pump. Right here around the loading port, this is going to be pretty worn down here, so good. Same thing on the other side. I was really hoping that this shotgun shell wasn't permanently attached because I wanted to replace the whole thing with a replica grenade cartridge. But I'll just have to settle for painting it to look mostly right. This is the trough from the top of a carrying handle. You'll notice a very distinct lack of sights in it. So I ripped the sights out of one of my ARs that wasn't using them anymore, and I'm going to install them into this. The rear sight's pretty straightforward. All I gotta do is drill some holes to slide this screw into. But the front sight's gonna be a bit trickier. I've got to drill a hole into this and then make a block in the bottom to house the parts that thread into it. And to make that block, I'm going to use my most favorite material in the whole world, Wren Shape. And you'll also get to watch me use a new tool of mine, this drill press with X and Y adjustable vise. The first thing I need is some material to work with. Right. Next, I'm going to true this up on the mill. Okay, my plan for this is going to go something like this. This is my block. This is going to thread into it, like so. And next to that goes this piece with spring. The little button pops out the top. This goes here, and this is all spring. And this piece is going to thread in, engage that, and that's going to sit on the plastic. Okay, this makes sense in my head, trust me. Question is, how did we do? There. Just like that. Nailed it. First try. I'm a little impressed with myself. So this piece fits inside there. So the next thing I gotta do is file out a notch in the front of this for this pin to fit through right here. Exactly like that. I think we're ready to glue the sights in. So I'm gonna start with just a little bit of super glue right there. Okay. How about we hit the right spot with this? In place. Okay, all right, okay, that's a problem. And then I'll just make a weld of super glue around the edge to really hold it on there. Oh, that's a problem. I think I've super glued the sight in place. There, now we've got sights. Okay, that's not gonna work on camera, but take my word for it, they're functional. Realistic. It's like rural. Who thinks of these words?